So let's talk about stochastic modeling. So stochastic modeling is something that you guys don't hear all the time, so it's going to be hard for you to digest it. But I want you to brace yourself. You get it. So stochastic modeling. This is stochastic modeling in finance. There's different you know fields that use stochastic modeling for different assumptions and different. You get what I'm saying? So this is stochastic modeling in finance. So stochastic modeling came from stochastic calculus. Stochastic calculus is coming from calculus. So the stochastic calculus is used to measure the randomness of an object, that is movement, the random movement of an object. And then we have the modeling, stochastic modeling, that is in finance. So the stock market, you don't really know how it moves, you don't know its movement, you don't know where it's going to go next, it's going to come down. Must have seen those charts. I'm talking of even the forex traders can really relate, but you must have seen those charts of movement. So you cannot really predict where um, the stock price is going to be in the next. No matter how smart you are, you have to make models and calibrate upon those models using to make sure it actually speaks real world on your on your model on your data set. So Brownian motion, which I will not be talking about too much because Brownian motion was introduced by Lewis, and his model allows that stock price have a negative value, and on a normal level in the real world, it doesn't have a negative value. You cannot have a negative stock price value because of liabilities. Also, we have then someone said, okay, since this has a negative value, this says that stock price can be negative. Let me create something else. And then Samuelson then came in, I think in 1965, and said, all right, I'm going to create the geometric Brownian motion. Now, this geometric Brownian motion measures the unexpected return of a stock at a particular period of time with microsecond movements plus the variance of a stock at a particular period of time using the winner process to measure its randomness. Now that winner process measures DW1, which is DW1 measures the asset, that's the stock price asset, stock shocks on the stock price, and then DW2 measures the shock that affects the volatility. Then someone said, "Oh, this is good, but I still think that we can move further." And what about when there is a huge jump in the market? What do we do then? We have to model that too. So they said, all right, if you check, when I say huge jump, I mean, there was a time those days, somebody joked about his model. He said, sorry, his market. He said, yeah, my market is nothing. It's gonna fall. It's not going to last long than a sandwich. This is after the winner, the model has been created. However, I'm just using it to make a good example so that you guys can understand what I'm saying. Immediately he said that his um, stock price dropped immensely. He dropped by he almost ran into debt. It was 80% off. So this kind of intensity of shocks that you cannot really predict, those kind of shocks, he wanted to model them. So Merton now said, okay, I'm gonna name um my model Merton model. He named it, and then he published it in 1976, and then he was working on it, I think, in 1973. So after he published it, someone now said, okay, these two models, they are good, but um, both of them says that volatility is constant. And in the real world, volatility is never constant. It can never be constant. So Heston in 1993 said, oh, how about I create my own? But I want to use one of the my predecessor's method to make it to be able to measure the volatility changes. So he used a mean reversion technique. Now that mean reversion technique was taken by one of his predecessors who actually did CIR, which is used to measure the changes in interest rates. So that was done in 1985 or so. So the guy says, I'm going to adopt this formula to this Heston model. So he did that, and then he was able to measure the changes in volatility. Now you can realize that Merton measures the intensity, the jump in volatility, and then this guy measures, that is the Heston measures the changes in volatility. So we now said, okay, someone then now said, okay, since these guys have done this awesome work and he's actually predicting the market, why don't I just add this CIR to, that the CIR is used again, I told you, to measure the changes in interest rate. Let me just add the CIR to this formula and make it the BCC model. Before then, there was another scholar that said, okay, since Merton and Heston are good models, let me just bring them together and make it big. So this is how the model has been expanding, and then we have calibrations where you calibrate the models to make sure that it speaks real world value and it can really predict what is on the real world, and then so on and so forth. So I'll be stopping here. I want you guys to go back and check all of this information and learn if you wish to continue in finance, quantitative finance especially. These are the things you need to learn and things that you need to understand to move forward. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this one. So see you in my next video. And follow and subscribe to my channel, my YouTube channel, Audit to Alpha, and my TikTok page, that's Audit to Alpha too. Thank you for watching.